A lot of issues come up in this video, and I do a couple things wrong, which is always the perfect opportunity to point that out and show you what not to do and the right way to do it. Another issue that comes up is me talking just a little bit, just on a surface issue of developing and maintaining a consistent stroke. And without this basic fact in your overall pull game, you're not going to be able to develop a consistent and straight stroke. So, although I just barely touch on that issue, I will in the future, in the short future, talk more about this issue. Because, I mean, what's more important in pull than a straight stroke? You're never going to play great pull until you have a straight, consistent stroke. So it needs to be touched on. And another issue that I didn't talk about in this video, but I will be in coming videos. I have covered the break in other videos, but I need to get more into that subject and more detailed about that subject. Because other than the stroke, what's more important than a break? Those two issues are probably the most important things in pool. So it's time. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and roll this. There's actually a couple key shots in this rack. Let's take a look. Here's the cue ball right here. One ball here, the 1 to the 2, the 2 to the 3, the 3 back to the 4, the 4 to the 5, the 5 to the 6, and the 6 to the 7, the 7 to the 8, the 8 back to the 9. So we're going to have a little bit of movement in this rack. Cue ball movement. Problem with this one ball shot is this 9 ball, if we just barely skim it, we're going to miss this 1 ball. And we have to, it's not quite straight in. The natural angle is going this way, but we have to draw back for straight in shot. On the 2 ball, and we don't have any rail to go to. The issue with this 3 ball is we can't get behind the 8 and too far on this table, but we have to get a little bit closer to the center of the table. You don't want to come down here because you're going to hit the 8 trying to get back on the 4 ball. So that's a little bit touchy, and if we get the cue ball where the 2 ball is now, or somewhere around there, that far off the rail, we'll be good to get on the 4 ball, but this is a scratch shot, so you have to be careful here. And from the 4 to the 5, you just have to bounce off the rail maybe a little bit. But getting back on this 6 ball for a shot in either one of these side pockets would be good so we can roll down. But we have to come up short of straight in. More on this angle here. And just put top on it to hit this rail and come back down for the 7. And from the 7 to the 8, I think we're just bouncing off this rail. If we get too low, we can always just kill the cue ball with a little bit of bottom and roll up on this 9. Or roll up on the 8. And from the 8 to the 9, there's numerous ways you can play it. If we get more center table, we can draw it back off this rail, but we have to be careful with this scratch. If we get too straight in, like where the 1 ball would be, we can put top left on it, but that's going to deflect the cue ball because it's such a long shot, and that shot tends to rattle the object ball because it's actually, if you barely touch this rail while shooting this shot, the long rail, you're going to rattle it. And if we come up long on a 9 ball, there's a good chance you're going to rattle that too. And we've all done that, and it really sucks. But I think the key shots are the 1 or the 3 to the 4 and the 6 to the 7. both take pretty precise position play to get right. So let's turn the volume down and get rolling on it. I don't know what I'm smirking about here. It's definitely a John smirk, but I don't remember what it's about. And this, you're just drawing back on this. You're not going to any route. You just want to get semi-straight in on this 2-ball because we don't want to go down table on this 3, and we certainly don't want to get snookered behind the 8-ball. So this is a powerful stroke here to do this right and to keep from missing the shot. And it's an interesting subject because it's been coming up and people are asking me to do more videos on the stroke. And it's all about keeping your body still. And once that shoulder's locked up and you're getting ready to shoot, you can have the straightest stroke in the world. But if your body moves, any part of your body moves in the slightest, your stroke is not going to be straight or consistent. So you have to be like a robot. If you programmed a robot to shoot this shot here, nothing would move on a robot except that arm. And that's how you have to be. So that's the first step in developing a straight, consistent stroke. You have to make sure your stance is solid. That's number one, because without that, you're not ever going to get a straight, consistent stroke. So here we go. Let's just go ahead and shoot this ball here. And I was a little touchy because we had to get by that 9-ball. And we only had a little more than half a pocket. I could go to the rail here, but and bounce off, but I don't see any sense in doing that when I can just draw back on this angle and have the perfect shot on the 3. And again, this 3-ball is a key shot. Should I cover it now? Should I cut here and cover this 3-ball, or should I wait till the end of the video? Well, let's go ahead and cut here. Alright, so that's the right position on the 3-ball, but you have to be careful here. This is a scratch shot. And I wouldn't play it this way if I didn't know this table, if I was warming up for a tournament, or playing in a tournament, or just playing in a place I had never been before. I would definitely put a little bit left and a little bit of bottom on this cue ball to come up off and use this rail to just bounce out slightly, a very delicate shot. But I don't put anything on it, and it's dangerous because it is a scratch shot in this side pocket. So if you're not used to the table and it's really fast, you're gonna be surprised, and then if your opponent's any good, he's easily gonna run this rack here. So I wouldn't recommend shooting this shot like this unless you really, really, really know the table you're playing on. See, any harder than that would have went from the side pocket. I think that was a mistake. I should have just stopped the ball here and came off this rail and just bounced up slightly for the right angle on this 6-ball to just put top on it and come down for this 7. I don't see any real, hope or idea or reason that I drew that back to this side of the 5-ball. I think that was kind of dumb, and I wasn't thinking it through, and I came up short from shooting this in either one of these side pockets. So I'm going to have to shoot this 6-ball just like I shot that 1-ball, except with top on it to roll down for the 7. And again, part of this 9-ball is blocking this pocket on this shot. So it wasn't real smart. I lost my brain. And if I touch that 9-ball, I'm in trouble. I could have made a special clip out of that key shot, the 6 to the 7, but I think I explained it pretty good. I think you get the gist. I'm not really sure what happened with the 7 to the 8. I think it died off the rail. I just didn't hit it good. Let up on my I just kind of wussed that in and took the long shot on the 8. Now a lot of advanced players will put top left on this in an attempt to get closer to the 9 ball. So they're coming off this rail, this rail, this rail, and this rail. I wouldn't recommend doing that. You put left-hand English on this cue ball, particularly because it's such a long-distance shot. It's going to deflect, and you're going to hit it a little more full than you think you are. And if you send that ball into the rail, the 8 ball is going to rattle. And this is why so many people rattle this shot. And if you're really confident and you really know about deflection and you know how to compensate for it, then go for it. But if you're not, or if you're not sure the table, and if a piece of the rail is dead, and again you're liable to scratch trying to get perfect on this 9. I mean, if I wanted to, I could get 3. I could get right on this first diamond here. if I wanted to, but the more perfect you try to be, the higher your chances of screwing up. The higher the odds, the more likely you're going to screw up. So I'm just going to stop this ball here and take another long shot on the 9 ball, which is another shot people rattle all the time. We'll get to the 9 when we get to it. That was not a very good stroke on that ball. I guess I should explain why. Watch my tip bounce on the table after shooting this. I mean, the stroke was good, but it wasn't solid. I mean, it was straight. If it wasn't, I would have missed the shot. You see how it came up off as I followed through there? See that? It's not good. Yeah, that's pretty bad stroke there. So I'm not real sure why that happened. My body was a little bit too far away. So my stance, I just had trouble following through because I'd already extended my arms. So if I had held my hand a little bit further back on the cue, that wouldn't have happened. So keep that in the back of your mind. And you can see me right there. I know I didn't follow through, and that's what I was doing in my imagination, telling myself, don't do that again. You got to follow through, dummy. Another stop shot, and again, this is often rattled, and players tend to put top right on this too. And again, if you do that, you're going to hit this 9 ball too full. It's going to go into this long rail here, just barely touching the long rail, and it's very apt to rattle. So I don't put any English on this ball. It's a stop shot, and it's a long stop shot. But I have enough confidence in my stroke, even though that last stroke was terrible, to stop this and just be done with it. That's another look at that Buddy Hall stroke there, if you want to see it. See how it pauses at the bridge right before I follow through with it. Came back pretty far like Bustamante too. Anyway, there was a lot of information in there. Not my best run out, but it is what it is. See you guys tomorrow.